lot of the new things we're doing, probably the most immediate, which should be out the week after the San Diego Con, is Ultraverse.
Right.
Ultraverse is actually sort of a combination of some of our more popular characters in the Ultraverse. We've got Prime.
I saw the ad that has Prime right center, right front and center.
He is a driving force behind Ultraverse.
Okay.
We have Prime, we have Prototype, we have a couple of new characters, and we also have Hardcase.
Right.
That is being written by Gerard Jones,
Good.
who is the co-writer for Prime.
Right.
And it is being penciled by George Perez, which everybody knows and loves.
Yeah.
It's a team book. It's right up George's alley.
That's quite a coup to get George Perez. I mean, George, he's a good guy.
Yeah, we think so too. I mean, George has been he's been really jacked about the whole project. He's you know, we've got you know, we set pretty high production standards for the books, and George has just been, you know, he bubbles. He's like a 13-year-old kid on anything he does, and he is so jacked about the project. So we're all just really excited about the whole thing. So that's like the immediate thing for us. We have some story arcs that we're doing. In September, we have something called our Hostile Takeover.
Okay.
Now, in the Ultraverse, we have some evil corporations, if you would. You know, everybody's got to have the.
Yeah. We knew about that.
Right. Prototype is a guy who works for oh shoot, Ultratech.
Right.
And we've got Newware that basically J.D. Hunt is in charge of. We've seen through Nightman, and we've seen in The Solution.
Okay.
So Hostile Takeover is basically it's a corporate battle, and the pawns in the battle are ultras. So we get Nightman, we get The Solution, we get Solitaire involved somewhat, and Prototype.
Okay.
And the result of the Hostile Takeover is basically one company survives. And I'm not going to tell you which it is.
Yeah, well, that would be giving away a lot of the plot, but that means that it's going to simplify your universe somewhat.
Yeah.
But then what are you going to do for an antagonist or a protagonist?
You mean post Hostile?
Yeah.
Oh, there'll always be evil guys, evil people.
Okay. You're going to come up with maybe some new villains or some, or maybe even a new corporation springing up from somewhere.
And that's not to say that's a good possibility. And,
all right.
That's without saying yes or no. But that's not to say that the corporation that wins is going to be the good corporation.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
There'll be a lot of things. Obviously, Jimmy Reeves, who is Prototype, this whole thing will affect him more than any of the others because he is the corporate spokesman for Ultratech. Well, the others are just sort of peripherally involved. Jimmy Prototype is the spokesman the corporate spokesman for Ultratech.
Okay.
So it will affect him more than it will any of the others.
Okay. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a pretty interesting project. You know, everybody at Malibu, I know you said earlier that you were pleased about reaching your one-year anniversary.
Right.
This last year, for publishers in particular, I think you used the expression earlier that it was a brutal year.
Yes, it was.
It's been tough. I know Marvel, DC, everybody has had a very tough year. The newcomers have had an especially tough year. Ultraverse and Defiant. It's been hard. Continuity's already gone by the wayside. But it looks like you shed some of your older titles, some of the pre-Ultraverse titles, and it looks like now that your numbers are maybe picking up a little bit and getting a little bit stronger.
Well, we think they're gaining some steam. I mean, it's one of those slow things. We like to sort of call it a grassroots thing.
Yeah.
Because the way we look at the Ultraverse and the way our fans do is the stuff we're putting out is stuff that, you know, you really love to read. It's the kind of thing that it's not necessarily a pinup book, something you want to plaster on your walls, but it's something that when you finish reading it, you go, man, that was a good story.
Well, you guys have been very story-driven. I've noticed that you've had good writers, you've had very good writers, and also you've had decent production values. The knock on Malibu 4 or 5 years ago was that your books were awful. I mean, they were printed on pulp paper. I mean, you could see the splinters in them. and now your paper's real good.
We called it toilet paper then.
Yeah, it was pretty cheesy. Yeah. But now your production values, I know it won't show up worth a darn for the audience. Maybe we can film this in later on. But I've got a copy of the hologram book that you did, and I'll just try putting this up as best I can. But a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, a couple months ago, you guys put these out, full holograms on the covers. These are great. I thought these were the best production things that you guys ever did.
Well, we have our manufacturing guys to thank for that. They worked real hard to find the right people to do those holograms, because that really is a technology that you know, most comics, I mean, we can't just do it. It's not something we can just do in our office. So our manufacturing guys worked really, really hard to find the right people. I mean, we're talking these things were sculpted, photographed, and
well, this is the kind of thing that is going to make people stay with comics, because you make it interesting, you make it unique. It's really cool.